a short story that's pretty beautiful and has a good moral to it. For I strongly believe that forgiveness is not always for the other people, but it's mostly for ourselves so we can move on with our life and also prosper with our feelings and with our endeavors. It's hard to move on when we have the burden of strong feelings upon ourselves. And it's easier said than done. I get that. But in the end, we all win. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Totem Tales of the Motherland. I know it has been such a long time since you haven't seen me here, but don't worry, I'm still around, still kicking. I just had a few things going on. I decided to focus a lot more on live storytelling. Yes, I'm a storyteller. I go to schools and to private events where I tell the same tales I tell here and some different ones as well. And I also just took some time to enjoy life, enjoy the spring, and do some traveling. Yes, I got to go back to the motherland. I went to Morocco, and it was a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful adventure, I would call it. It was exciting, and my heart just kind of broke when I had to leave. I feel that way every time I go to the motherland. So that happened, and then I thought it would be nice if I got to record outside, which has that better natural lighting, and I just love to be outdoors, listen to the birds and whatnot. And I could not do that in the summer because I live in a place that is not really, really friendly in the summer. Let me just say that. So I just waited and just enjoyed myself and my family and just made sure to compile as many stories as I possibly could for when I come back. While I was gone, I made sure to add the finishing touches to my children's book titled 𝐭𝐴𝐴, which is a fictional tale of the Bantu people of Africa. The book is now available on Amazon, so feel free to grab a copy or two or three for you and some friends and family. At the time of this recording, the book had not been released yet, so you will see me holding an author's proof from time to time in this video. That's because the book was released after I recorded this video. So the Bantu people are a broader ethnic group of people in Africa. And when I say broader group, we're talking about the large groups that are classified, so to speak, by the physical features, by the roots, the root words in the languages, and all those similarities that they have that group them in a certain group. As much as you have, let's say, the Nilotes or the Khoi in southern Africa, Khoisan, for instance. You also have the Bantus, which is actually one, if not the largest group of people in mostly sub-Saharan Africa. I'm a Bantu myself, so this story is very, very dear to me, and it is semi-fiction, by the way, so please do not come to me and say, oh no, Mimi, this did not happen like this did not happen like that. I know. And to this day, the origin of the Bantu people is greatly debated, but in the story we're trying to engage a younger group of readers. So in order to do so, sometimes we add a little bit of fantasy in there. And although the basic, meaning the Bantus, really existed, which we know, we try to make it a lot more appealing to younger brains, so to speak. So anyway, again, it's the 𝐭𝐴𝐴, and I hope you guys get to read it, and I hope you'll enjoy it. Anyway, back to business, right? I am here to tell a new story that I discovered a little while ago and that I think is quite interesting and teaches a great deal about forgiveness and compassion, but also greed. Today's story is from the Kikuyu people. It's a Kikuyu folktale, and thank you so much for sharing that folktale with us. It is the story of Wanjiru, the young maiden. A long time ago, in a place in the Motherland, there was no rain. There was some severe drought that persisted for quite a while. The crops were not thriving. In fact, they were dying. The animals were struggling. There was no water, no rain for an entire year. This went on for 1 year, and then 2, then 3. We can no longer carry on like this, said the people. We have to do something. So they gathered together and they called on to the medicine man and posed him the question, what can we do to get some rain? What would the universe, Mother Nature, have us do to get some rain? So the medicine man, in all his wisdom, spilled his gourd and all the content of his gourd on the ground. And he made supplications and chants and implored to Mother Earth. And soon enough, the medicine man got the answer. He said, on a given day, at a given place, you will all have to bring one goat. Each one of you bring one goat to Wanjiru's family and buy her. Only then will we get some rain. And so it was. On that given day, everybody in the village, everybody on the land for that matter, came to that place with one goat each. Wanjiru's family was there as well. They all stood in a circle around Wanjiru. She stood there. She knew what she had to do. She knew what was needed for her people to survive. And she was not scared. She thought, well, this is what needs to be done, so be it. So they started chanting around her, praising, imploring for rain. And before long, Wanjiru's ankles sank in the ground, which was a good sign. Somebody brought a goat to one of her family members, which they took gladly. And then Wanjiru sank to her knees into the ground. The ground was sort of swallowing her. And with each goat that was brought, she sank even deeper. Someone brought a goat, and she sank to her thighs. And as she sank to her thighs, they looked at the ground, and some clouds started to form. Finally, in that clear sky, some hope. So someone brought in yet another goat. And then Wanjiru sank to her hips. And the clouds that had gathered got thicker and dark. Someone else brought yet another goat, and another goat, and another goat, which Wanjiru's family accepted gladly. And the wind grew even stronger, and they even heard some thunder. Surely the rain was on the horizon. So they brought yet another goat. Wanjiru sank to her waist. They brought another goat. She sank to her chest, and she cried, I am lost. But at last, we shall get some rain. I can sense it, I can feel it, and I am glad for it. The clouds were thicker, darker, some wind and thunder and lightning. And people brought more and more goats. And Wanjiru sank to her neck deep into the ground. And at last, there were some sprinkles of rain. soft sprinkles of rain. Wanjiru was glad. She thought, phew, this was close. Finally, we're getting a glimpse of rain. I am lost, but surely my family will come and get me, now that we have the certainty that we're getting some rain, right? Wrong. Right when one of Wanjiru's family members was about to pull her out, someone else brought yet another goat, and they let go, grabbed the goat, and went back to the circle. They took the goat instead of saving Wanjiru. And Wanjiru was, what's going on? And she sank to her eyes, getting deeper and deeper into the ground. She started to cry. And every time someone tried to pull her out, one of the village members would bring yet another goat, and they would take the goat instead of saving their Wanjiru. What kind of family is that? And soon enough, it started to pour, rain pouring all over the land. And people panicked, and they ran, leaving Wanjiru behind. And she completely sunk into the ground. And so it was that they all got goats, that they all got the rain that they came there for. But they forgot about Wanjiru. She got swallowed by the earth. A while passed, and they forgot about her. They forgot. Not everybody forgot, though. There was a young, mighty warrior who had always admired Wanjiru, and who was gone when all of this was happening. When he came back, he inquired about her and asked, "Where is Wanjiru?" And they told him about Wanjiru's fate, that she had been swallowed by the earth. He could not believe it. So on he went to the designated spot to find her. Once he got into the spot itself, he stood there, and he too got swallowed by the earth. Must have been a soft spot in the ground. As he landed under the ground, he arrived on a path. He followed the path. He followed it for quite a while. And then he found her. There she was. Poor little Wanjiru, covered with mud, completely covered in mud and disheveled. And her clothes, her beautiful attire, had disintegrated. So he picked her up, put her on his back, marched back onto that path, went back to the earth's surface, and took her to his mother, who took great care of Wanjiru. She fed Wanjiru with some goat fat and goat meat, clothed her with the goat skin. Quite ironic, right? The reason that sent her to that lost place was now helping her regain her strength and dignity. So she came back to good health and good shape. And a short while after, there was a dance that was organized. Wanjiru and the young warrior attended the dance together. And at the dance, her family was there and saw her. And they were all so excited to see her again, alive and well. They tried to approach her, but the young warrior would have none of it. He thought, wait a minute. You guys sold your daughter. You sold your sister, your niece, your granddaughter. You gave her away for goats, even after you got the rain. Why should I let you approach her now? No, he actually beat them up, gave them quite a beating. And he would not let them approach her at all. They left the dance. And her family pleaded with him for days, begging him to let them see Wanjiru again and be around her again. For I'm pretty sure that deep inside they still loved her. They got blinded by greed, but they still loved her. And the young warrior at first would have none of it, but after a while, his heart softened. It softened, for he saw that they too loved Wanjiru. They too cared about her. So he eventually let them be around her. He forgave them. Not only did he forgive them, but he actually paid them a dowry to marry Wanjiru. The end. Now, if that's not forgiveness, then I don't know what is. For he put his hurt, and I'm sure Wanjiru forgave her family as well. She put her hurt aside to reconcile with her family. I thought this story was pretty cute. A short story that's pretty beautiful and has a good moral to it. For I strongly believe that forgiveness is not always for the other people, but it's mostly for ourselves so we can move on with our life and also prosper with our feelings and with our endeavors. It's hard to move on when we have the burden of strong feelings upon ourselves, and it's easier said than done. I get that, but in the end, we all win. Thank you so much for joining me today for another story. And of course, don't forget November 24th, save the date. Don't forget to get your copy of the Piece Kalimba. This is the back. And I hope to see you guys here again pretty soon for another episode of Totem Tales of the Motherland. Thank you all. I wish you all a good day, a good week, and as we say where I'm from, yeah, yeah, yeah. Goodbye now.